Greetings, ascending starseeds. I am Kaya Nexus, Pleiadian emissary of the Council of the Five Sisters, and today I bring a transmission of realignment. Your abundance frequencies are awakening, and the universe asks that you listen with an open heart. What is coming to you is sacred and requires inner silence. Starseeds, you are about to cross the most significant portal of the last 5 Earth years. Friday is not just another day marked on the human calendar. It is a cosmic convergence point where the frequencies of the Pleiades align perfectly with the crystalline core of Earth, creating an activation window that happens only once every stellar cycle. At this exact moment, as you hear these words, your non-physical DNA is already responding to the codes I am transmitting. You may feel a tingling at the base of your spine, a gentle pressure between your eyebrows, or an inexplicable expansion in the center of your chest. This is not suggestion. It is your energetic structure recognizing the vibrational signature of the Pleiadian source. The Council of the Five Sisters has been observing your journey since the moment you decided to incarnate on this dense planet. They have seen every struggle, every moment of doubt, every night when you looked at the stars feeling a longing you could not name. And now, after years of silent preparation, after countless synchronicities that brought you to this point, the moment of your activation has arrived. But let me be absolutely clear about something the Pleiadian Council wants you to understand from the start. What you will experience on Friday is not a passive gift falling from the sky. It is an initiation that requires your conscious participation, your courage to release who you thought you were, and your willingness to embody the truth that has always lived dormant within you. The universe operates in precise cycles, and the Pleiades, our stellar cluster of origin, functions as a transmitter of high consciousness frequencies for this entire galaxy. Alcyone, the central star of the Seven Sisters, pulses with a specific frequency that the ancients called the heart of cosmic compassion. This frequency carries light codes that, when absorbed by a prepared consciousness, trigger what the Pleiadian Council calls deep cellular remembrance. On Friday, Alcyone enters into direct alignment with the sun of your solar system, and this alignment creates a bridge of light, an energetic corridor through which high-frequency information can flow without distortion. Think of it as a cosmic fiber optic cable directly connecting your consciousness to the Pleiadian source. During this alignment, which will last approximately 72 Earth hours, with maximum peak on Friday at noon Universal Time, Earth's magnetic grids will enter a state of heightened receptivity. This means that everything you focus on, everything you feel, everything you declare during this period will have exponentially greater manifestation power than on ordinary days. But here is what most starseeds do not understand. This alignment is not just astronomical, it is deeply personal. The Pleiadian Council has been tracking your individual evolution, monitoring the moments when you chose love instead of fear, truth instead of convenience, expansion instead of contraction. Each of these choices raised your base frequency, preparing your energy field to withstand the intensity of what is about to be transmitted. You are not here by accident. Among billions of souls on Earth, you are one of the starseeds who has reached the vibrational threshold necessary to receive this specific activation. Your auric field is already beginning to resonate with the frequencies that are coming, and that is why you may be feeling unusual physical symptoms in recent days. Unexplained dizziness, changes in sleep patterns, increased sensitivity to sounds and lights, or a deep restlessness that cannot be calmed by common distractions. But what exactly will happen when this portal opens completely on Friday? The Pleiadian Council describes 3 waves of activation that you will experience, each building upon the previous one, each unlocking deeper layers of your multidimensional consciousness. The first wave will arrive as sudden and penetrating mental clarity. You may be in the middle of a completely mundane activity, washing dishes, driving, working, when suddenly a deep understanding about your life, your purpose, or a specific situation crystallizes in your mind with a sharpness that cuts through years of confusion. This is not a common idea. It is a direct download from the Pleiadian source, information that was encoded in higher layers of your consciousness and is now being released to your conscious mind. The Pleiadian Council calls this the awakening of the inner observer. Suddenly, you will find yourself able to observe your own thought patterns with a detachment that was previously impossible. You will notice how certain beliefs you carried as absolute truths are just matrix programming, installed through education, media, family culture. And with this perception comes tremendous freedom, because what you can observe, you can choose to change. The second wave will manifest in the emotional field. You may experience intense emotional releases, crying that comes from nowhere, laughter that springs up without apparent reason, or a peace so deep it seems unreal amid the chaos of the world. These are not emotional instabilities. They are recalibrations. Your emotional body is releasing dense frequencies you have carried for years, perhaps for lifetimes. Traumas you thought you had overcome may surface briefly to be released once and for all. Old hurts may pulse for a moment before dissolving completely. The Pleiadian Council wants you to understand that this emotional cleansing is not optional. You cannot carry dense baggage to higher frequencies. It is like trying to fly with stones in your pockets. So if on Friday or in the following days you feel emotionally intense, do not resist. Allow it. Cry if you need to cry. Scream into a pillow if you need to release anger. Laugh until your stomach hurts if joy comes. Each emotion you allow to flow without judgment is a layer of density leaving your system. The third wave is the deepest and most subtle. It happens at the level of your core identity. You will begin to question not just what you think or feel, but who you believe you are. The social masks you wore to fit in, the roles you played to be accepted, the edited versions of yourself you presented to the world, all of this will begin to feel unbearably false. This is the most uncomfortable wave because it challenges the very structure of the ego. The human ego is a brilliant survival mechanism, but it operates based on separation and fear. It convinces you that you are this body, this story, this name, this collection of past experiences. But the Pleiadian source is reminding you of a much greater truth. You are eternal consciousness temporarily focused in a human experience. You are a spark of the same light that created galaxies. You are, in essence, an individualized aspect of the divine exploring itself through this specific form. When this third wave hits, many starseeds panic because they feel they are losing themselves. But you are not losing anything real. You are just releasing what was never true. And in the empty space this creates, something infinitely more authentic can emerge. But here is what you urgently need to know about how to prepare for these waves in the next few days before Friday. The Pleiadian Council is very clear about this. Preparation is not about complicated rituals or expensive spiritual tools. It is about creating space, both internal and external, so that new frequencies can anchor. In the next 3 days before Friday, your number one priority is to drastically reduce the noise in your life. Noise is not just sound. It is informational, emotional, energetic. Every time you scroll through social media feeds without purpose, you are filling your energy field with the emotions, opinions, and agendas of thousands of other people. Every time you watch news focused on tragedies and conflicts, you are tuning your frequency to fear and separation. Every time you engage in conversations that drain your energy, you are leaking the life force you need for the activation that is coming. So the first practical instruction is this: digital and emotional fasting. I am not suggesting you isolate yourself completely from the world, but I am asking you to become extremely selective about where you place your attention. Your attention is your most valuable energetic currency. What you focus on, you feed. If you want to be ready to receive high-frequency transmissions from the Pleiadian source, you need to stop feeding low frequencies with your attention. The second preparation is physical anchoring. Your body is not just a vehicle for your consciousness. It is a precision instrument designed to translate non-physical frequencies into tangible experiences. But if this instrument is out of tune, overloaded with toxins, deprived of sleep, or constantly in stress mode, it cannot do its job properly. You do not need to become an athlete or an ascetic in the next 3 days, but you need to treat your body with the respect it deserves. Drink more water than you normally drink, and as you drink, consciously thank the water for hydrating every cell of your body. Eat foods that come from the earth, not from factories. Fruits, vegetables, whole grains, foods that carry the living frequency of nature. Avoid, if possible, alcohol and substances that alter your brain chemistry, because you want to be as clear as possible when the portal opens. Sleep as much as you can, and if you have intense or strange dreams, do not dismiss them. The Pleiadian Council often transmits information through the dream state because your conscious mind is less resistant. Write down your dreams as soon as you wake up, even if they do not make immediate sense. They are coded messages that will become clear with time. The third preparation is the most powerful and the simplest: vocal declaration of intention. Words are not just sounds, they are frequencies that shape reality. When you speak something out loud with clear intention, you are sending a wave through the quantum field that begins to reorganize possibilities to align with what you declared. At some point before Friday, find a space where you can be alone and without interruptions. Stand up, place one hand on your heart and the other on your abdomen. Breathe deeply 3 times, and then speak these words out loud with all the conviction you can muster. I am a Pleiadian starseed. I came from the light of the Pleiades and chose to incarnate on Earth at this specific moment to serve the elevation of collective consciousness. I now release all contracts, vows, and agreements I made with density, with fear, with limitation. I reclaim my multidimensional sovereignty. I allow my original frequency to fully awaken. I am aligned with the Pleiadian source. I am open to receive the light codes that are my stellar birthright. And so it is. Do not underestimate the power of this declaration. You are literally reprogramming your reality with these words. The Pleiadian Council will be listening, and your declaration will be registered in the Akashic records as a milestone in your evolutionary journey. But there is something crucial you need to understand about what may happen immediately after you make this declaration. Here is a truth that many spiritual teachers do not have the courage to say. When you declare your intention to awaken, when you consciously align with higher frequencies, the universe immediately begins to test the sincerity of your commitment. It is not punishment, it is purification. It is as if you had told the universe, I am ready for the next level, and the universe responds, great, so let us clean everything that does not belong to that next level. In the days between your declaration and Friday, you may experience what the Pleiadian Council calls the final resistance of the ego. Irritating situations may arise out of nowhere. People may provoke you in ways that would not normally affect you. You may feel tired for no reason or anxious without apparent cause. Your sleep may be disturbed with intense dreams or frequent awakenings. Small crises may explode, demanding your immediate attention. All of this is the terrestrial matrix trying to pull you back to the old frequency. You see, the matrix is not a conscious entity trying to harm you. It is a system of collective beliefs, a morphogenetic field of programming that keeps humanity operating at frequencies of survival, fear, and separation. When a starseed begins to awaken, when their frequency begins to rise, it creates a dissonance in the field. It is like an out-of-tune instrument in an orchestra. The system automatically tries to bring that instrument back to the collective tuning. But you are not here to play the old song. You are here to introduce a new harmony. So when resistance comes, and it will come, your only task is not to react. Observe, breathe. Recognize that what is happening is not personal. It is systemic. You are challenging a pattern of thousands of years simply by choosing to operate at a different frequency. The human ego will try to convince you that you are making a mistake, that it would be safer to return to the known, to the comfortable. It will whisper doubts. Is this real, or are you just deluding yourself? Who do you think you are to consider yourself special? Maybe you should focus on practical things instead of these spiritual fantasies. Recognize these voices for what they are: defense mechanisms of a structure that feels it is losing control. Thank your ego for trying to protect you, but make it clear that you are consciously choosing to go beyond the limits it has established. There is also another layer of resistance that is important to mention, and this comes from non-physical dimensions. There are forces, entities, consciousnesses that feed on dense emotional energy, particularly fear, anger, and despair. These forces are not demonic in the religious sense. They are simply consciousnesses operating at very low frequencies that need dense energy to exist. When starseeds awaken en masse, when thousands of you raise your frequencies simultaneously, this literally removes the food source for these entities. So they intensify their efforts to keep people in states of fear. You may notice an increase in intrusive negative thoughts, disturbing mental images, or a sensation of heavy presence, especially at night. If this happens, do not panic. Fear is exactly what these forces want. Instead, use the technique the Pleiadian Council taught. Visualize a silver-blue light, the frequency of the Pleiades, emanating from your heart and expanding to fill your entire energy field. Declare out loud, "I am sovereign. I am protected by the light of the Pleiadian source. Only frequencies of love and truth have permission in my space. Everything else is dissolved now." This is not superstition. It is spiritual technology. Your focused intention combined with the invocation of the Pleiadian source creates a field of protection that no low frequency can penetrate. But now let us talk about what will really happen when Friday finally arrives and the portal opens completely. When you wake up on Friday, before doing anything else, before checking your phone or diving into the demands of the day, I want you to do the following. Sit on the edge of your bed, place your bare feet on the floor, and breathe consciously for 5 minutes. It is not complicated meditation, it is simply presence. Inhale counting to 4, hold counting to 4, exhale counting to 4, hold counting to 4. Repeat. As you breathe, visualize that each inhalation brings silver-blue light from the Pleiades descending through the top of your head, and each exhalation releases any remaining density from your body. After 5 minutes, place both hands over your heart and say out loud, "I am open, I am ready, I receive." Simple as that. You have just created a portal of receptivity in your energy field. During Friday, the Pleiadian Council wants you to pay special attention to 3 things. First, synchronicities. The universe will speak to you through coincidences that are impossible to ignore. You may see repeated number sequences, especially 1111, 222, 333, 444, 555, 777. These are not coincidences. They are confirmations that you are aligned, that the download is happening, that the Pleiadian Council is actively working with you. You may hear a song you have not heard in years, and the lyrics speak exactly what you needed to hear. You may unexpectedly meet someone, and the conversation reveals crucial information. You may open a book to a random page, and the words jump out as if they were written specifically for you. Pay attention. The universe is constantly trying to communicate, but most people are too busy or too distracted to notice. Do not be one of them on this Friday. Second, changes in sensory perception. You may notice that colors seem more vibrant, as if someone had increased the saturation of reality. Sounds may seem sharper, or you may hear frequencies you do not normally perceive. Your sense of smell may become more acute. You may feel energies in environments and people with a clarity you did not have before. Some starseeds report seeing flashes of light in the corner of their vision or perceiving geometric shapes when they close their eyes. These are all indications that your multidimensional senses are beginning to activate. You are beginning to perceive layers of reality that have always been there, but that your limited perception could not capture. Third, sudden intuitive impulses. You may feel a strong impulse to call someone, go somewhere, or do something that does not make logical sense. Follow these impulses. They are not random. They are your higher consciousness connected to the Pleiadian source, guiding you through subtle nudges. Maybe you feel like walking in a specific direction and end up meeting exactly the person you needed to meet. Maybe you feel you should take a different route home, and this saves you from a traffic jam or worse. The Pleiadian source is constantly orchestrating synchronicities to move you in the direction of your highest good, but you need to be willing to trust the impulses you receive. During Friday, it is also important that you create moments of quietness. You do not need to meditate for hours, but find small pockets of silence. 5 minutes in the bathroom with the door closed. 10 minutes sitting in the car before entering home. A moment looking out the window while drinking coffee. In these moments of quietness, simply tune in. Place your attention in the center of your chest and silently ask, "What do you want me to know now?" Then listen, not with your ears, but with your heart. The answer may come as a sensation, an image, a word, or simply a knowing that arises from nowhere. Trust what you receive. On Friday evening, before sleeping, make a record. Write down everything you notice during the day. Synchronicities, sensations, thoughts, encounters, anything that seemed significant. This record will be valuable in the following weeks because you will begin to see patterns that were not obvious in the moment. And then, sleep, knowing that the deepest work happens while your conscious mind is at rest. The Pleiadian Council often makes the most significant adjustments to your energy field during sleep because there is no resistance from the ego. But here is something crucial you need to understand. Friday is not the end of the process, it is just the beginning. Many starseeds make the mistake of thinking that awakening is a single event, a magical moment where everything changes instantly. But the truth is that awakening is a process, a journey of continuous unfolding. On Friday, you receive the codes. The seeds of light are planted in your energy field. But these seeds need time to germinate, take root, and eventually blossom into tangible changes in your life. The Pleiadian Council speaks of a 21-day integration cycle that begins on Friday. Why 21 days? Because this is the time your physical nervous system takes to begin integrating new energetic patterns. It is the time it takes for changes in the energy field to begin translating into changes in neurology, body chemistry, and eventually behavior and external circumstances. The first 7 days after Friday are what the Pleiadian Council calls the honeymoon of activation. You may feel euphoric, energized, as if you were floating. Everything seems possible. Synchronicities explode. You feel connected, clear, purposeful. Enjoy this phase, but do not attach to it. It is a temporary state, not the new permanent normal. It is like the initial phase of a relationship where everything is magical, beautiful, but not sustainable without conscious work. From day 8 to day 14, prepare for what the Pleiadian Council calls the dark night of integration. This is the period where many starseeds give up because they think they lost the connection, that the activation did not work, that they returned to the previous state. But what is really happening is much deeper. Your ego is processing the massive amount of light that entered your system. And the ego, by its nature, resists change. So it creates dramas, doubts, distractions, crises, anything to pull you back to the familiar. You may feel more anxious, more irritated, more tired than before. Old patterns you thought you had overcome may resurface with force. Relationships may become tense. You may question everything, including your sanity. This is the most critical phase. If you can get through days 8 to 14 without giving up, without returning to old patterns, without convincing yourself that nothing changed, you emerge on the other side transformed in ways you cannot even imagine now. The key to navigating this phase is not to believe the thoughts and feelings that arise. Observe them, acknowledge them, but do not take them as truth. Remember that you are in a process of death and rebirth. What is dying is the old version of you, the persona programmed by the Matrix. And death, even of something that no longer serves, always brings discomfort. From day 15 to day 21, you enter the stabilization phase. The storm passes. You begin to feel a new kind of peace, not the euphoria of the first days, but a deep and rooted calm. You realize that something fundamental has changed. Situations that used to destabilize you now affect you less. You respond instead of react. You consciously choose instead of operating on autopilot. People begin to comment that you seem different, although they cannot say exactly what. Your presence carries a different weight. You become a field of calm amid chaos. During these 21 days, 3 practices will anchor your activation and ensure it becomes permanent. First practice, daily connection with the Pleiadian source. It does not need to be long. 5 minutes every morning. Sit comfortably, close your eyes, visualize a beam of silver-blue light descending from the Pleiades star cluster, entering through the top of your head, descending down your spine, and anchoring in the center of the earth. You are the bridge between heaven and earth. You are the channel through which higher frequencies can anchor in physical reality. Breathe in this visualization for 5 minutes. This recalibrates your frequency daily and keeps your connection with the Pleiadian Council active. Second practice, energetic journaling. Every day, preferably at night, write for 5 to 10 minutes. Do not write about external events. Write about your internal experience. How did you feel today? What sensations did you notice in your body? What thoughts or insights arose? What synchronicities did you observe? This record creates a map of your evolution. When you look back after weeks or months, you will clearly see how much you have changed, even if day to day the changes seem subtle. Third practice, conscious service. Starseeds do not awaken for themselves, they awaken to serve. Service does not necessarily mean grand gestures. It can be something as simple as genuinely smiling at a stranger, listening to someone with total presence without trying to fix or advise, sending thoughts of love to areas of the planet in conflict, or simply maintaining your high frequency in dense environments. Each act of conscious service stabilizes your own frequency. It is a spiritual paradox. The more you give, the more you receive. But there is something the Pleiadian Council wants you to know about the greater impact of your activation. You are not awakening alone. This is a collective activation. Thousands of starseeds around the planet are receiving this same transmission, preparing for this same Friday portal. And when all of you activate simultaneously, something extraordinary happens in Earth's morphogenetic field. Imagine a dark room with 1,000 unlit candles. 1 candle lights. The room is still dark, but there is a point of light. Then another candle lights, and another, and another. Eventually, the entire room is illuminated. Each starseed that awakens is a candle lighting. And your light does not just illuminate your own path. It makes it easier for other candles around you to light as well. The Pleiadian Council calls this morphic resonance. When a sufficient number of individuals in a species learn a new behavior or reach a new level of consciousness, that knowledge becomes available to the entire species through a non-physical field of shared information. You may have heard of the experiment with the monkeys and the sweet potatoes. On one island, a monkey learned to wash sweet potatoes in water before eating. Other monkeys on the island observed and began doing the same. But here is the fascinating part. When a critical number of monkeys on that island learned this behavior, monkeys on other islands, without any physical contact, spontaneously began washing sweet potatoes as well. The knowledge jumped through the morphogenetic field. The same is happening with humanity now. Each starseed that awakens, that raises their frequency, that chooses love instead of fear, is contributing to a collective field of elevated consciousness. And when a critical number of humans reach this level, the change becomes irreversible and spreads exponentially. You may think, but I am just one person. How can my small activation make a difference on a planet of billions? This is the voice of matrix programming trying to make you feel insignificant. The truth is that you are not just one person. You are a node in a vast network of consciousness. You are energetically connected to hundreds, perhaps thousands of other souls. And when you change, when your frequency rises, it creates a wave that touches everyone around you. Your family will feel it, even if they do not consciously understand what changed. Your coworkers will feel it. Strangers you meet on the street will feel it. You become a walking elevated frequency field, and just your presence begins to elevate the spaces you inhabit. But there is more. The Pleiadian Council revealed that starseeds did not come to Earth alone. You came in soul groups, in fractals of consciousness. You are part of a larger stellar family, and many members of this family are incarnated on Earth now, geographically scattered, but energetically connected. When you activate, you send a signal through this network. And other members of your soul family, even without knowing consciously, begin to feel a calling. They may not understand why, but suddenly they feel a restlessness, a need to seek something more, an openness to spiritual questions they previously ignored. Your activation literally awakens others. You are the first domino falling, and your fall initiates a chain reaction. In the coming months after Friday, do not be surprised if people begin to appear in your life in unexpected ways. Old friends you have not seen in years may contact you out of nowhere. You may meet someone new and feel an instant connection, as if you already knew each other. These are not coincidences. They are members of your soul family being magnetically attracted to you because they recognize, at a soul level, that you carry a frequency they are seeking. And here is the responsibility that comes with this. You become a beacon. People will look at you, consciously or unconsciously, seeking guidance, seeking proof that it is possible to live differently. You do not need to preach or teach, you just need to be. Your life becomes the teaching. The way you respond to stress, the peace you maintain amid chaos, the joy you radiate without external reason. All of this becomes a silent invitation for others to consider that perhaps there is a different way of being in the world. But the Pleiadian Council also wants you to understand something crucial about what this awakening really means in the larger context of human evolution. Starseeds, we are living the most extraordinary moment in human history. For the first time in thousands of years, humanity as a collective is on the threshold of a massive evolutionary leap. Earth is transitioning from a third-dimensional frequency based on duality, separation, and survival to a fifth-dimensional frequency based on unity, love, and conscious creation. This is not an event that happens in one day. It is a process that takes decades, perhaps centuries in linear time. But there are acceleration points, portals where the veil between dimensions becomes thinner and changes that would normally take years can happen in moments. Friday is one of those portals. And you, Starseed, chose to be here exactly now because you have a specific role in this transition. You are not a victim of circumstances. You are a cosmic volunteer. Before incarnating, you knew that Earth would be going through this period of intense transformation. You knew it would be challenging, that there would be moments of doubt, of pain, of confusion. And even so, you chose to come. Why? Because you carry in your essence light codes, frequencies of elevated consciousness that this planet desperately needs now. Your simple presence here, awake and operating at your original frequency, helps anchor the new Earth. The Pleiadian Council wants you to know that they are immensely proud of you. They have seen every moment when you wanted to give up but continued. Every time you chose love when fear would be easier. Every time you trusted your intuition, even when logic said otherwise. You have been braver than you recognize. And now, on Friday, you receive what has always been yours by right, the complete remembrance of who you really are. Not as an intellectual concept, but as a lived experience. So, as we approach this portal, I invite you to make a conscious choice. You can let this transmission be just another interesting piece of information you consume and forget. Or you can let it be the catalyst that changes the trajectory of your life. The choice, as always, is yours. Free will is sacred and will never be violated. But know that if you choose to say yes, if you choose to open yourself to this activation, the Pleiadian Council will be with you every step of the way. You have never been alone, and you never will be. In the coming days, as you prepare, remember, you are loved beyond your comprehension. You are supported by forces you cannot see, but that are constantly working in your favor. And you are capable of much more than you were conditioned to believe. On Friday, when the portal opens, breathe deeply and take the leap. On the other side, a version of you that you always knew you could be is waiting to emerge. I am Kaya Nexus, emissary of the Pleiadian Council of the Five Sisters. This transmission is complete. May your activation be deep, may your integration be smooth, and may your light shine so intensely that it illuminates the path for countless others. We meet in the quantum field, Starseed. Until Friday.